Yeah. What thing? Oh, okay, bet. We good now. Yeah, let me go ahead and get started on what I need to say. I already know people energy is already left field on this topic anyways, from what I've seen. But from the week I've just had with my own eyes actually being in the streets and seeing what's going on, and then I said something about a code and everybody like, code? What code? What code? What code are you talking about? What code are you talking about? You talking about code? What code? What code are you talking about? These dudes is mad because somebody said something about being on code. Do y'all understand that? People are getting mad because people are talking about being on code. Let me tell you why this is the dumbest conversation ever. The first thing dudes do when something go wrong out here, they start blaming people. Oh man, y'all be doing this in the community and this and this and this. What do you think being on code is then? Why are you begging people to be on code in the community when you feel like it? When you want to feel safe walking down the street, they want to pick and choose when they want to be on code. Then when they say, then the first thing they say is, "Oh man, look how Mexicans be coming out for their fighters during these fights. Look how amazing it is." And that's called being on code. Why are you bragging about that? Why is that such a big deal if you don't want to do it? Why? Why you want somebody else to do it but you don't want to do it? Why are you bragging about other people doing it but you don't want to do it? Why are dudes bragging about Mexican fighters being on code, but then when it's time for they people to get on code, they be like, "Oh, what code? Man, look how these Mexican fans turn out for their fighters." Shut up. I hate when dudes say that. I be wanting to slap people when they say that. I ain't even gonna lie. Cause they be the same dudes that turn around and say, "What code? What code? A code? A code? What code in Boston? What code?" I can't believe some of these dudes got kids, bro. I was just at a football game recently. I stopped the violence football game. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but they had a coach that was sleeping with some girl, and dude came in and shot him. It went viral everywhere. So I went to a football game. I ain't went to a football game in like over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really sit in the stands like that. But I went to a football game. It was a stop the violence football game. So I'm like, all right, let me go to this. I'm going, and some lady let some kids out. She was like, "Hey, can the kids go in with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, they can go in with me." I'm like, "All right, y'all want to go on the right side or left side?" They're like, "It don't matter." I'm like, "Let's go on the left side." Man, we go on the left side, the right side of the stadium. Everybody's fighting. Everybody, the whole stadium is fighting. None but kids. The whole stadium. It was funny to me because as soon as you leave the stadium, you in between two projects. It's a project on the left side, on the left side of the street, on the left side of the stadium, and it's a project on the right side of the stadium. So you ain't gonna be doing too much of that fighting when you leave the stadium. If you know what you're doing, it ain't gonna be too much fighting when you leave the stadium. I'm telling y'all that right now. It ain't gonna be too much fighting. All them kids that was fighting in the stadium, that's cool and everything. But I ain't seen none of them kids walking around them projects. So I'm pretty sure they had their Uber ready. It was thousands of kids fighting, but I'm pretty sure they had their Uber ready as soon as that game was over. So all that on code stuff, y'all better tell y'all kids to start moving a certain way because I'm hearing now that being on code ain't cool. So yeah, if they gonna be out here doing all that, better start moving a certain way. Cause that went viral, and I'm telling you right now. Everybody who don't know, they was in between two projects as soon as they got their game was over with. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's what's going on out here. And that's kind of trickling down from the streets to sports and just people mentality. What's up? Shout out to Jordan Smith. What's going on? And I'm out here at the game like, bro, we got to stop the violence game and everybody fighting. But then I thought about it. Everybody ain't really like that because as soon, like I said, as soon the game over with, and then people out here talking about own code. They want they brag about everybody else being on code, but they don't want to be on code. They know what it is. Dudes just want to be cowards and being lame and a sucker. But then they want somebody to protect their kids when their kids out here in the community. But then they were, oh, what code? What code? What code? So basically, they telling all y'all right now that being on code don't mean nothing. That if my loved one is in the street, don't be on code. Slap them like you don't, like they're an enemy, like they're a stranger, like they don't belong there. Don't be on code. Be anti on code at all times. Or no, let me just pick and choose when I need people to be on code and when man, get out of here, bro. I'm grown. I ain't finna pick and choose nothing. Either we on code or we ain't. Dudes are suckers though. You can't trust nobody out here these days. Being real with y'all. They want to pick and choose when they want to be on code. That's a sucker. That's a sucker. No matter how people want to put it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Can y'all name any other big name American boxers that went over there with Canelo? Can anybody name any big name black American fighters that went over there and trained and sparred with Canelo? Anybody? Anybody? Can anybody name any big name black boxers from America that has sparred with Canelo over his how long he been up here? About 15 years? Any names? Big names? Anybody? Can't name one. Can't name one. Not one. And whoever was on here sneak listening, you know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Please hit the like button as you sneak listen to some facts. I ain't say you got to comment or nothing, but yeah, people think they got every answer to everything, bro. Like, cut it out, man. Y'all not in public affairs, bro. Chill. Not everybody want to explain every detail about sparring. Well, sparring work out like this, man. Okay. Then why do you have Big Baby Miller walking, running around, talking about Deontay Wilder ducking him, and he done sparred the man before? So they just choose when they want to use certain things. About the sparring matter because of this. But yeah, they can't name nobody though. They won't be able to name no other black fighters who's running over there to spar with Canelo, cause he don't care about sparring no American fighters. And then guess what? He gonna get that intel allegedly, and he gonna shuffle it off to everybody who Mexican over there at 54, just like he did Castano. That's why Castano's face is up here. He ain't even Mexican. Why is he on the phone with Canelo? How many other people has Canelo been on the phone with besides Castano? From what I've seen. And people acting like, yeah, he getting help. Man, please. That man getting intel like he always has. Canelo's a veteran. He not finna do nothing this foreign to show nobody nothing. He ain't in sparring to help nobody. Yeah, you there to help to make him better. Yeah, I just don't like the looks of this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't finna do like everybody else be saying. You know what I'm saying? I got a real heartbeat. I ain't AI like everybody else. First of all, we already know dudes don't they're not on code. That's why I'm saying, like, bro, if y'all got kids, bro, like good luck on your part. You're definitely not making the streets safer for them. These dudes like what code? Like, yeah, just do anything. Just yeah. Then they know better because they brag about other people doing it. Then they be the main ones complaining. Main ones. The main people. I be seeing guys that never be on code. They be talking, yeah, man, but what? They need to have, our people need to be on code. Bro, you're not on code. If any boxer would have been trying to get ready for with Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Ennis was fighting him next, I would have been like, what y'all got going on? So for people to be like, hey, why is that a thing? Man, these people ain't got no standards, bro. At all. None. None. They ready to go for anything. That's a sucker mentality, man. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, bro, ain't nobody supporting that in boxing, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. From a fan standpoint, because I know a Turkey out of she showed up and everybody think, bro. From a fan standpoint, nobody going for this type of stuff, bro. No other Black American fighters is really going over there trying to run over there and see what Canelo got going on. Ain't nothing he doing that's special effects. Trust me. If we knew he was making people better, we would have known that a long time ago. This man has no track record of making people better. I don't know what people are talking about. I don't know where that narrative is coming from. This man has no track record of making people better. Ever. If he did, Ryan Garcia would be over there right now. Nobody even trying to figure out why Tiafimo ain't over there no more. Don't even know if the sparring made him better over there. Don't know if the sparring made Ryan better. Yeah, it ain't a whole bunch of guys going over there like that. Man, people messing up like that. I'm telling you that right now. The man was canceling sparring with Benavidez. Why would you cancel a sparring with Benavidez? And then Benavidez said, it was probably because he thought I would share information. Why would he bring Boost? Why would he be comfortable bringing Boost over there? But he won't bring Benavidez over there to spar. That's something that's a question I'll never get an answer for. Why would this man be comfortable bringing Boots over there and sparring? People will say, well, his brother. Wow. So why he won't bring Benavidez over there? He not comfortable bringing Benavidez over there? This is a while ago, too. What are we doing? I'm going to tell y'all right now. If y'all think that Canelo gonna get in the ring with this dude, and he not gonna tell somebody else, hey, Boots was doing this. If he ain't gonna, didn't Virgil just say he sparred Canelo recently? Sometimes you can do too much, and you can only hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's a such thing as just doing too much sometimes, and this is one of those situations. Just the way I'm looking at it, because bro, from what I'm seeing, it's not guys really benefiting from sparring this dude. Just gonna be honest. I know people say it makes you better. It ain't too many people I see benefiting from sparring this dude. I ain't see nobody turn into no beast after sparring him. If anything, you might have some information being passed around about some habits. Man, I don't even want to get into details about all that, but it is what it is. If guys want to put themselves out there like that, I mean that's cool. For me, it's not really people saying, "Oh man, people are just worried about him getting them ready for the Canelo fight." I heard people saying that, Boots is sparring Canelo. Now he'll be ready. No way Canelo will lose. First of all, people sound crazy as hell. So if Canelo has a resume like people are talking, and out of that whole resume Canelo got, that's not gonna get him ready. But sparring Boots will. Get off the dope, please. Dudes be saying some insane stuff. Now just in a split second, dudes have fanned out so bad. Now Canelo special resume. Now Boost is better than Canelo whole resume. I'm not being funny, bro. I'm not being funny. It's like, hey man, Boost gonna get Canelo ready. Okay. All right. As each day go by, that resume on Canelo, it just don't look as good as everybody said, huh? If Boost got to get Canelo ready, yeah, he definitely losing this fight. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Guaranteed loss. Yeah, he getting knocked out for sure. And to be honest with you, it is desperate. To be honest with you, people say, "Oh, this is smart." It's desperate. It is. It's desperate. Because if I was Canelo, I would have bought Boost in for the William Skull fight because what he did in that fight, If Canelo at 35 got to learn something from Boots, he get knocked out. I'm being real with you. He might get done like Duran or something. Because 2 weeks ago, everybody told me, yeah, Boots ducking. So the dude everybody said that ducking, now he gonna get Canelo ready. Yeah, they definitely got their boots on the ground right now. I'm about to get me my sound bite back going. Y'all ever heard that boots on the ground song? What's up, Jay man? What's going on? I'm about to get that where them fans at part. These people are insane, bro. The stuff that's going on in boxing right now, it's crazy. Now imagine if Devin Haney, you said I don't know shit about boxing, DM. You said I don't know shit about boxing. I'll be honest with you, dog. If you want to come up here and say something, I'll give you a link right now. You said another racist ninja running his big mouth. I mean, everybody else is in boxing playing the race car, so why can't I? You ain't had no problem watching boxing the last 40, 50 years hearing about race. And get a real name too. You know what time it is over here. If you know me, you know what time it is over here. It sounds like you know what time it is over here. Sound like you know what time it is over here. They go YouTube sending them bots over here again. YouTube always sending a bot over here. So if Devin Haney, let me tell y'all something, how much these dudes are cowards. If Devin Haney was getting Ryan Garcia ready before he fought Tank, these dudes would have been out here crying all over the floor like Ezel on Friday. These dudes would have been crying all over the place. All over the place, these dudes would have been crying. Oh, why Devin getting Ryan Garcia ready for Tank Davis? Oh man, he hating. They need a super team to stop Tank. Not everybody got their boots on the ground. Where them fans at? What's up, Griffiths? Now everybody got their boots on the ground. Now everybody, yeah, I understand. Y'all been understanding a lot lately. Been a lot of understanding going on, huh? Terrence Crawford's in the same position as everybody else is right now. And it's a lot of understanding going on right now in 2025. Ain't nobody fighting nobody, but it's a lot of understanding going on, huh? Dudes need Canelo to get ready and stuff. Okay, that's what's up. I was telling everybody, yeah, he ready for Virgil Ortiz. Now everybody talking, he need Canelo to get ready. Oh, man, I'm picking Virgil Ortiz. We got diehard fans out here. Boots Ennis talking about he need Canelo to get ready. I'm picking Virgil Ortiz, and I ain't going back. Straight up. If I got diehard Boots fans talking about he need Canelo to get ready, and I'm like, nah, he good. He gonna fight Virgil Ortiz. They like, nah, he need this Canelo sparring. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was sparring Canelo. I didn't know that. I didn't say any fighter. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't say any fighter needed Canelo sparring. It's a lot of guys you can get in the ring with. You can get in the ring with Bivol. Now I can understand somebody getting in the ring with Bivol. He got a whole arsenal. Canelo, I ain't heard too many black dudes getting in the ring, spar Canelo. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I ain't heard too many, you know, I ain't heard too many black guys getting in the ring with Canelo. If anybody heard about that, that's a new thing to me. Anybody, can y'all think about it while everybody sitting around here just talking? Y'all heard about any big name elite black guys sparring Canelo in the last 15, 20 years? I haven't either. Dang, they got their boots on the ground for real. And I just came from a festival hearing that song too. That's why it's in my head. But this is insane though. Then you got dudes like, hey man, what code he need to stand on? Bruh, Canelo not finna help none of these black dudes, man. It ain't finna happen. I don't care what no fans say. Canelo ain't helped none of these black dudes. He ain't finna help none of these black dudes. He called Brian Castano after Brian Castano had a draw against Charlo and said, yeah, you won that fight. Brian Castano couldn't even get to his car after the fight, and Canelo already found his number and got the connection. Yeah, yeah, you won that fight. Canelo gonna show that dude something? Nah. Canelo finna get something from him. That's what's finna go on. He finna get something. He gonna use something. He gonna take something. That's what's gonna happen, allegedly. While everybody talking, yeah, he finna get, man. Name one fighter Canelo done got ready through sparring. What fighter has gotten better sparring Canelo in the last 1,000 years? Yeah, he worried. Canelo definitely worried. I seen that Charlo fight. I'm like, man, Charlo could have went to work on Canelo. I said, yeah, Charlo could have went to work on Canelo. Canelo's definitely worried. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. If Canelo's main skill that everybody's talking about is power, he definitely don't got that right now. If we ain't learned from the Munguia Berlanga fight, trying to be respectful to the guy, but if we ain't learned from those two fights, he ain't got the power that he had. It's over. It's over. Like for real. And we don't know how he gonna look in this fight after the William Skull fight. He ain't finna get better since the William Skull fight sparring boots. That's not gonna happen. And yeah, this gonna be motivation, like J Man said. This is only gonna be motivation to piss Bud off even more. And people will say it ain't that serious. It is that serious. They've been trolling Terrence Crawford for a while. Called him man Kendrick Lamar, all kind of stuff going on. So he's definitely the underdog. I know a lot of people been saying recently, "Oh yeah, we're gonna pick him." He know what time it is. But what I don't like, though, I'm gonna be honest with you. It seems like Boots be going out of the way to be like, "Nah, I ain't rocking with Crawford on nothing." He said Crawford need a tune up going into this fight. Man, Crawford has stopped. Let me tell you something. Crawford is most of the guys Crawford knocked out. It was the first time those guys have been knocked out. Most of the guys he fight is not the same when they get out the ring. And I ain't even talking about Earl Spence. Cause I don't think he, bruh, I'm talking about other guys are not the same when they got the ring with Terrence Crawford. So all this sparring stuff people talking about, that's cool and everything, but last time I checked, Munguia and Berlanga, they was okay when they got in the ring. Definitely. Yeah, Canelo been struggling against guys southpaws. That's horrible. This man is struggling against southpaw fighters in his career. Cannot cut off the ring, call Lara a runner. I mean, nothing Boots is gonna do is gonna be able to help Canelo. Nothing. Yeah. Canelo's not like that. He's probably trying to get used to some kind of movement or the southpaw, or maybe a guy could switch. Something like that. Something small, but it's not gonna be nothing major to help either guy. To be honest with you, like I said before, only thing he probably gonna do is take their information and hand it off. Dude ain't doing no favors out here. I don't know why everybody trying to make it seem like he gonna do a favor. If anything, like I said, allegedly, if I was Canelo, because I fight for Mexico, right? He fights for Mexico. Yeah, well, I would take that information and hand it off to Mexico. Oh, how many Mexican fighters we got at 54? Oh, one, two, three. Oh, all right. We got some other Latin brothers around there. Okay, they can get it too. They'll get the information. Hey, Brian Castano come back. He can get the information too. I still got his phone number. Brian Castano said he'll come back for a big fight. Hey, if he magically fight Boots in the future, we know who he can get the intel from. Yeah, this sounds stupid, bro. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Everybody trying to make this make sense. It don't make sense at all. It don't make sense at all. If this was the case, guys would have been sparring each other the entire time. Certain guys stay away from sparring certain people. It always happens. Canelo ain't sparring everybody. I don't know why people think Canelo's sparring everybody. Bruh, if y'all, let me tell y'all something. Let me give people a quick history lesson real quick on Canelo. Because people don't really know about Canelo like that. Canelo has sparred mostly guys who just was fighting Benavidez recently. And people didn't even peep that out. People like, oh, Canelo fighting, he's sparring Kyron Davis and Ronald Ellis. Why do you think he's doing that? Because those are two guys who fought Benavidez. He trying to see how good Benavidez is, and everybody else like, yeah, he giving me experience. uh, he's giving me experience. Man, this dude trying to figure out how good y'all are. These dudes, these dudes playing checkers. That's why Canelo and Tank is playing chess. That's why Tank know how to move. He know when at certain points when to fight certain people and when not to. He done fought everybody. These dudes out here playing checkers and Canelo Tank playing chess. Canelo might turn around next year and be like, you know what? What, Boots got how many belts at the 54? Shoot. He get one more. Hey, become undisputed. I'll fight him. I'll fight Boots and come up two weight classes. Yeah, I'll fight him. Come on, man. Please. And people gonna watch it. So yeah, Canelo playing chess. That's all it is. That's the way I see it. Because when I look at sparring now, I used to think, okay, this is just for this fight, and those guys taking their information for down the line. Yeah, they definitely gonna use that. You're not gonna spar nobody and not know about it. That's why Tank, when he sparred Devin Haney, his name kept coming up. All them dudes Tank was sparring, Devin Haney name came up. Then what Tank said recently, oh yeah, Brian Norman, he the real deal. So dudes be knowing, bro. Dudes be knowing. I've been telling people that already. I said these dudes be knowing. All that cracking guys and sparring and stuff like that. Yeah, it sound good. That's guys be knowing though. They know who a threat. And sometimes they ain't got to spar the guy to find out what they trying to find out. I'll just spar a guy that you fought, or that you could have fought, or could be fighting, or you have fought. I ain't got to fight you. If you look at the names that Canelo sparred, these dudes that Morrell and Benavidez have been in the ring with, yeah, you know why? I need to see. That's why. All that great stuff, yeah, I need to see. He definitely was checking. They making it seem like he just jumping in the ring with anybody. Nah, he trying to see how these good guys that Benavidez have been in the ring with look like. But I could go into some other things, but that can get a little messy as far as what I wanted to talk about as far as sparring on Canelo's end. But I just hope Boost knows what's really really out there as far as the boxing game. Like, bruh, I ain't even gonna say nothing, man. Like people don't understand sparring is just, oh, that gets you better. Man, stop listening to these dudes, bro. I don't know everything, but trust me, I don't. But when it comes to that sparring, quit listening to these dudes. Canelo is sparring somebody to get a look, not a feel. Yeah, they got it mixed up. And they ain't there to see how good Boots is. They ain't there to see, hey, how good is Boots in the ring versus Canelo. We want to see if he gonna knock Canelo out 3 weeks before he fight Crawford. Come on, man. What y'all thought? What people really thought was going on in there? Did they think that Boots was trying to KO Canelo a couple of weeks before he make what, $100 million? That's not gonna happen. Yeah, he did, man. Definitely pulled an Anakin. If anybody else would have did this, I would have been like, bruh, y'all know Boots trying to fight Versus Ortiz. Why would you go over there? That don't even make any sense. Then they make Boots sound like a peasant, like he ain't had no other chance to fight Spar Canelo. He couldn't be like, nah, let me just wait. They making it seem like, no, he had to do it now. That's just bad, bro. No Mexican fighter is gonna do that. That's why I was talking about Andrew Ruiz earlier today. I had to do a live earlier today because Andrew Ruiz is out here talking about how Andre Ward is less than a Jake Paul. You think that Andrew Ruiz is gonna say that about Canelo? You think he'll say that about even Oscar De La Hoya? People gonna say, "Oh, that's because Andre Ward old." You think he gonna say that about Oscar De La Hoya? What about Chavez Senior? Chavez Senior, 60 years old. What about Chavez? He gonna say that about him? Dudes to my what code? What code? What code? What code? That's why. That's why we can't even. That's why in certain neighborhoods you can't walk down the street because these dudes on in my chat asking me what code. They don't want. They don't want to. They don't want to make their neighborhood safe for their kids. Then they'll be the same ones, man. These Mexicans, man, they support they support their fighters, man. I don't know why our people don't do that. Cause you the same one that's over here talking about what code, you coward. That's why I'm glad Ryan Garcia exposed these guys. These the same guys, same ones. Yeah, it was necessary. You know, God don't make mistakes. Devin Haney had to be the one, but hey, you know, you be the one to expose these cowards in boxing. Talking about what code? The same one that had you talking about. We know y'all are on code because y'all was talking about PEDs don't matter. I don't know why dudes ain't raising their hand every time they talk and reminding everybody, hey, I was the one that was talking about PEDs don't matter. Where did all these guys go? So I know y'all ain't on code. You can't even keep it 100. Have y'all seen one grown man out here that was yelling, talking about, hey man, PEDs don't matter still? Y'all seen any of those guys? Come on, man. Talking about a sparring matter. Well, you don't know if PEDs matter. How you know if a sparring matter? And we being nice out here because we really ignoring that y'all said that. Could be petty and keep bringing it up. Like everybody was talking about the left hook. Now imagine me still bringing up PEDs don't matter like everybody was bringing up the left hook. Or dudes going out their way to spar people for odd reasons. What if I kept bringing that stuff up? Yeah, this is a bad move, man. This is a disappointing move. The reason why it's disappointing is because I sat back before I got on this live and I said, wow, Charlo wouldn't even done this. Charlo would not have gotten in a sparring camp with Canelo Alvarez. Even him. Think about that, y'all. He would have been like, no, I'm trying to fight him. Even Earl Spence. Even Earl Spence would not go over there and spar Canelo Alvarez. Earl Spence had all kind of fighters coming over there with Derrick James. He had Anthony Joshua, Ryan Garcia. He had Charlo coming over there. You didn't see not one time Earl Spence like, man, I need to get this. I need to get this Canelo sparring so I can beat Sean Porter and beat Ugas and get ready for this Crawford fight. Yeah, applaud cheaters. Yeah, they do. They do. It's bad, man. To be honest with you, and I'm only saying this type of stuff because I know the older people in boxing is looking around like, bro, I know it's a lot of people that's ready to hang it up just because, like, guys don't even know what's going on in boxing. Like, don't even know what's going on. You know it's bad when you got everybody who's calling Boots a duck and he don't do nothing but fight tune-ups. You got everybody cheering for him in the comments. Yeah, he's sparring Canelo. Bro, y'all was just saying the man a duck. And then he ain't fought nobody. But you do not want the guys who called you a duck all over the internet to be cheering you on right now. That's bad energy, dog. That ain't even good. Ain't no way that's good. No way that's good. You telling me you got the people that was calling you a duck against Virgil Ortiz and saying you ain't signed no contract, you ain't trying to fight nobody. Those people are cheering that man on because he's sparring Canelo. I wonder who they gonna pick when he fight Virgil Ortiz though. That's your answer. When he fight Virgil Ortiz, they gonna be the main ones. Like, man, that sparring you did with Canelo ain't finna help you. I heard Virgil sparred Canelo and he did better. You know, all kind of stuff they gonna be saying. Yeah, that's not good energy to have, bro, around you. I'm just being real. That's not authentic. So when people say, "Oh, what code?" The same code that everybody was on when they were saying that, "Oh, he wasn't ducking Virgil Ortiz." My only problem is why everybody else can't get that same treatment. You know what I'm saying? If you say Terrence Crawford is ducking, and this man fought on 3 or 4 different boxing platforms, this man has fought on the most platforms in boxing, and they call this man a duck. If you call him a duck, come on now. That's borderline personal. A guy who jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who everybody said is too small. The whole world said he's too small. He's basically a third grader. How can anybody say that man's ducking? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all too. Earl Spence is one of the realest boxers. I'm gonna tell you why. Why I don't disrespect Earl Spence. Earl Spence could have fought Canelo in a real fight. Forget the sparring that everybody bragging about right now. Earl Spence could have went past Terrence Crawford. He could have went past that fight, let the Showtime deal run out. He could have sat back like he doing right now, and he could have said, "I'll wait until Canelo get available and I'll fight him." Earl Spence could have moved up because he was supposed to fight Canelo. He was supposed to fight Canelo, and he was supposed to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman just said recently. Keith Thurman said recently he was supposed to fight Earl Spence, and he lost to Pacquiao. Couldn't fight him. So I already know if Boots was in a position, he would have been like, "Oh no, I'm finna fight Canelo." And I don't want to put that out there and say that's what he'll do, allegedly, but from what I'm seeing, that's the type of energy I'm seeing right now. That's the type of energy I'm seeing right now. That's all I'm saying. Because Earl Spence, he put his whole career on hold and said, "I'm gonna make Terrence Crawford get this fight." Because the only reason this Canelo Crawford fight is happening is because Earl Spence gave Terrence Crawford the fight. Not because of Boots or nobody else that everybody talking about right now. Virgil Ortiz, none of those guys. They ain't did nothing for Terrence Crawford. The only reason that Terrence Crawford is fighting Canelo is because Earl Spence, like a man, chose legacy over a payday. He could have went for the Canelo payday like everybody else did. Everybody else went for the Canelo payday. I'll go a step further and say that Earl Spence is probably the only person that went out his way to turn down a Canelo payday. He didn't directly turn it down, but he indirectly turned it down because it was coming up. That's why the next couple of months that came up, they start throwing out guys' names like Terrence Crawford. Oh, what about him and Canelo? That's when his name came up. So he could have been like, "Nah, I ain't got to fight him." And these dudes talking about, "Yeah, well, Boots, he had to spar Canelo. Well, Earl Spence had to fight Canelo, and it didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? And the fight was already talked about for years and already set up, and people already know that PBC was talking about it, and it was on the table before Charlo's name even popped up. So who knows? What if Earl Spence didn't fight Terrence Crawford? What if he would have fought Canelo? I mean, he fought 2 months before Canelo fought. Dude's acting like a sparring match is a life changing experience. Man, get out of here. What's up, Flat Out? Shout out to my dog Flat Out, man. They acting like a sparring match is a lifetime experience. Man, this dude Earl Spence could have been fought Canelo for a bag. And everybody's talking, man, this dude had to spar Canelo. I mean, Canelo ain't sparred no other black dudes. I'm still waiting on somebody to tell me, name some elite black guys, that Canelo has sparred in the last 15 years he's been in America. Cause I don't even really be studying dude like that, but I be seeing all the facts that everybody just be jumping over. Can we name a plethora of black people from America that Canelo has sparred? And I'll be disrespectful, that don't have ties to Benavidez. No, we can't. All right. Moving on. Just boots. All right. Okay. Can somebody explain that, please? Y'all, do people see how disrespectful this is? Oh, what code are you talking about? Y'all always try to talk about code. Well, we know your neighborhood is not safe. I ain't even gotta ask you. You said Bud is not as real as Spence. We're not trying to have a pistol contest. This is a different conversation as far as who's real and who ain't. First of all, those guys fought each other, so and they didn't need $100 million to do it. So that's as real as it gets for both guys. I'll say that. Because as far as with Terrence Crawford, I'm gonna do a live tomorrow talking about Terrence Crawford saved boxing. Saved boxing. Saved it. Everybody waiting on Jake Paul and Tank Davis to fight. They wanted Devin Haney to retire last year. They said because of boots, Brian Norman ain't good. So all these fights coming up is make believe. The only real fight that's coming up is Jake Paul and Tank. So don't worry about those other fights. Those guys have been discredited already, according to some fans. Man, Canelo. If Terrence Crawford wasn't fighting Canelo, we wouldn't even be talking about Boots sparring Canelo right now. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. No disrespect, but I'm gonna just go a step further. Ain't nobody talking about Boots Ennis ever fighting Canelo. I haven't heard nobody talking about Boots Ennis fighting Canelo. I haven't heard nobody say in the last year. I've been the only channel that said no. Why nobody brings up Boots Ennis fighting Canelo if they think that Boots is better than Terrence Crawford? Can we do we want to have that conversation? Why nobody even bring up that Boots is better than Canelo? How many people y'all actually heard say that? I can't really think of too many people who actually said, "Hey, Boots is better than Canelo Alvarez. He'll beat the brakes off Canelo." So when I so little things that be going on right now, it's like starting to get a little too personal as far as with certain things. He said why Bud wasn't on code and give a young black fighter Boots a chance at him, but he gave a young white boy Majramov a shot at pound for pound number one. Um. Okay. Let me ask, bro. Do you know that Boots Ennis gave Stanionis more money than he got to fight him recently? Do you know that Boots Ennis gave Stanionis more money than he was going to give, well, Boots Ennis team or Eddie Hearn or whoever was in charge? I know people like to be specific. That side, they gave Stanionis more money than they was going to offer Brian Norman. The money that Brian Norman was asking for, they gave to Stanionis, and Boots took a pay cut. Do you know that Stanionis, who only got 15 fights or something like that, it might be 16 now. Dude only had 15 fights, ain't fought nobody, and he made more money than Boots Ennis this year. Did you know that? Can we keep it inside the ring, please? I like the I appreciate that if we did that. You know what I'm saying? I know you throwing the white boy in there. It's the wrong time to be doing that. I mean, we kind of on that topic, but not really. But I don't know if you know it or not, but Stanionis made more money than Boots, and he only has 15. He only had 15 wins, like 15 and 0, 15 fights. And Brian Norman got less of an offer. So you're basically, you know, if this was the question I'm asking, it would say why Boots wasn't on code and give a young black fighter, Brian Norman, a chance at him, but he gave a white boy, Stanionis, a shot at pound for pound number one. And yeah, you're done. Yeah, moving on though. These dudes don't even know what's going on in boxing, bro. You said Stanionis' dad, bro. Nobody cares about the dad stuff, bro. It's too many people on YouTube with daddy issues, bro. I'm gonna be real with y'all. The daddy issues with Brian Norman and everybody else. Who cares, man? I can't stand Tiafimo's dad at all. I don't know why he gets passes. He's the worst of everybody because he look like Captain Hook. I guess everybody give him a pass, but he's the worst. He's always drunk. Like, what are we talking about? Are we serious? Come on, man. What are guys talking about? We're talking about boxing dads? No. He gets the biggest pass out of everybody. And that's part of the problem right there. That's part of the problem right there. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that people don't want to talk about. They just want to brush over certain things, but come on, man. Like a lot of these people don't even know about fighters until some dude disrespects them. Like they be like, I don't even know who you was until somebody disrespected you. Trying to act like Terrence Crawford was supposed to give somebody a chance. This man said he was supposed to give Boots a chance. Bro, do you know what type of fights that Boots been discussed with lately? Bro, what are these dudes talking about? Do these guys know what type of fights that Boots has actually been in conversations with recently? There's not a fight that Boots can't get right now. Y'all and people sound so extreme right now. Dudes are like, man, Boots can't fight Terrence Crawford right now or Canelo, but he got every other fight he can make right now. Bro, what are y'all talking about? This man can make every other fight in boxing. It ain't no fight he can't get. Why are we still talking about Terrence Crawford and Boots? This man can get every fight in boxing right now. The dude he was that I wanted him to fight just got the brakes beat off of him tonight. And he could have been in line to fight Virgil Ortiz as a mandatory. Did you know that? No. You didn't know that. While Boots is sparring Canelo, he could have been fighting the guy tonight that would have put him in line for a guaranteed mandatory spot at Virgil Ortiz. Guaranteed. And the guy looked horrible tonight. Yeah, man. I just don't see what everybody's talking about. Everything I'm hearing right now is just Canelo hasn't got anybody ready. Haven't heard any fighters say they gotten better since sparring him. Haven't seen it. A lot of guys have gotten away from him. Uh, Tiafimo was just sparring Canelo recently, and he got away from the dude as soon as he sparred with him a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the smartest thing he did because everybody, Munguia had that situation after that. Then Rodriguez, I definitely can't stand that guy, but he keeps it clean though. I will say that. As far as the test, but these dudes, man, they ain't got no code out here, man. They really don't. They don't. They making everything more dangerous now, and it's a lot more serious than people realize. Because they making this normal now. Like, bro, it's normal to be a sellout. Like, why you ain't selling out? That's basically what they saying to you when they say, why you on code? Why you ain't selling out like everybody else is? They want guys to really sell out for this boxing stuff. It ain't that serious. Trust me. It ain't never gonna be that serious. It's not even one of the top sports in America right now. Boxing ain't. It's not one of the top sports in America right now. Ain't nobody really crashing out over no boxing like that. Trust me. Where it got crazy at when dudes was talking about the PEDs. When they said that don't matter, then you had NFL guys saying that they get tested for ostarine. I'm like, man, hold on. Who's paying y'all to say this? I know it's not no guys who get making millions of dollars in the NFL testing for ostarine, talking about that don't matter. Yeah, y'all need to test that guy for sure. He definitely need to be tested. That's when I seen it. Then I'm like, oh yeah, that's dangerous. But people think that's a game. But what if you have a young guy now go try to get ostarine in high school and try to do something with it, and he up here knocking kids upside the head who ain't even, man, y'all, bro, people don't even know. They don't even know. They ain't even trying to think that far. First thing they'll say, oh, I'm not trying to think that far. Why would I think that far? Yeah, why would you think that far? You're right. When it comes to safety, you ain't gonna think that far. When it comes to destruction and destroying people, you're gonna think that far. You're gonna have some deep thinking going on. When it comes to protection and safety and staying within the guidelines, oh, well, that's too much thinking. Man, they know what time it is. They know. But in boxing, this is not gonna keep going on though. I'm gonna just be real with you. A lot of people are not gonna support stuff like this. You're not gonna have organic growth in boxing if you just going around and trying to be buddy buddy with everybody. Then you already have things going on in your career where there's nothing to really build off of right now. My thing is right now with any boxer, when it comes to Terrence Crawford resume, or it comes to any up and coming boxer resume, these guys ain't put in no work to even be in the ring with Terrence Crawford or even Earl Spence. These guys ain't put in no work to be in the ring with them. And I hate to say that, but they ain't fought nobody. Even people now are starting to realize, oh, these guys ain't fought nobody. Yeah, they haven't fought nobody because when you saying, oh, he just got to fight the top guy, you ain't really expecting him to fight nobody else. If he don't fight Crawford, well, he ain't gonna fight nobody. Have y'all realized that before Brian Norman had popped up and really was saying something about the Boots fight, it was nobody really calling out Boots as far as the fight, except Virgil Ortiz, and that was kind of down a little bit. But Brian Norman started calling him out though. But guess what? Same thing that happened to that Terrence Crawford situation happened with Boots. Is the same thing Boots situation had happened with Brian Norman. Business. And dude moving up to 54. Did the same thing, man. Did the same exact thing. Moved up. That's crazy when you gotta do the same thing as another guy. That people said that you was that was ducking you. I'm just keeping it real. And this ain't no hate going on or talking crazy. I'm just keeping it real, man. Just keeping it real. Sparring Canelo is crazy, man. The stuff that's going on now is it's just out of order. And guess what? When Virgil Ortiz, you know what I can't wait to do? I can't wait until Virgil Ortiz. I can't wait till Virgil Ortiz and Boots fight. I can't wait. Cause when they fight, who you think Canelo gonna go for? They gonna ask Canelo who he picking, who he gonna go for. Who you think Canelo gonna go for when Virgil Ortiz and Boots fight? That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on Virgil Ortiz and Boots to make that fight, and for them to be like, "Hey, Canelo, who you picking as far as that fight with Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz?" uh, y'all want to bet y'all house on it that he gonna pick Boots Ennis? These dudes talking about what code, man. Bro, that's crazy out here right now. Crazy. And it's not even boxing, to be honest with you. I'm just looking at certain things. Yeah, I'm just looking at certain things that's going on. I see now it ain't no code though. Like these dudes is right though. Ain't no code. Ain't no code going on at all. None at all. Everybody faking it, man. I remember a few years ago, dudes was like, man, I need to see man, this rapper, he ain't really doing what he said he'll do. Then these dudes start really doing the stuff they say they doing. Not everybody like, oh, they doing too much. But you just said you weren't. They ain't doing what they said they was doing. They don't know if they want somebody to crash out or not. They ask somebody to crash out. Then when they do crash out, they like, man, why these dudes crashing out? You say you want the real thing. No code at all. Ain't no code. And nowhere. In no stage of life right now, ain't no code. That's why the Canelo thing is like people like, ain't no code. Let Benavidez be over there sparring Terrence Crawford and look how everybody will be acting. Let Virgil Ortiz be over there sparring Terrence Crawford and look at how everybody be acting. Let Virgil, let Virgil Ortiz or let Benavidez spar Terrence Crawford and look at how everybody will act. These guys will lose their mind. They will lose their mind if Virgil Ortiz was sparring Terrence Crawford. And it's not going to happen. Because you know why? Because Virgil Ortiz is on code. That's why. Yeah, that's why. And when he fights Jaron Ennis, Canelo's going to be on code. Yeah. And everybody else is not. Because everybody else is suckers. That's why. That's why. They want to celebrate dudes who own code, but they don't want to be on code. That's a sucker move. That's the biggest sucker I've ever seen in my life. That's a cheerleader. You want to celebrate another man being on code? You're a sucker. Can't believe we got suckers out here raising kids. I got definitely gonna pray for these kids. Got too many suckers out here, man. Bro, they didn't turn boxing into a joke, bro. Boxing is the closest sport you can where dudes use to try to, take little stereotypes and certain things and kind of mush it together and do all that in boxing, especially with the running stuff. They ain't saying nothing about no other countries having trouble with fighters running. So don't even try to play me with that. But then people will be like, I don't know what's wrong with Ennis sparring. Why Virgil Ortiz ain't sparring Terrence Crawford then? Why he ain't going out his way to spar Terrence Crawford? And you know the answer. That's why these dudes is cowards. Oh, I don't, why does everybody have a problem with Jerron Ennis sparring Canelo? Why Virgil Ortiz ain't sparring Terrence Crawford? He don't want to learn from Terrence Crawford. Virgil Ortiz can't learn from Terrence Crawford. That's what y'all telling me. He can learn more from Canelo than he can Terrence Crawford. Jerron Ennis can learn more from Canelo than he can Terrence Crawford. Why would you? If I'm Jerron Ennis, why would I even spar Canelo? And I'm trying to be the best. What if I can fight him? If Canelo was interested in sparring him, that means he was on his radar. He probably just, blew a fight just by sparring this guy. Maybe Canelo like, oh, no, I don't want to fight him now. And people will say, no, that didn't happen. Bro, you ain't Canelo. You ain't Canelo, and nobody else ain't thinking for Canelo. You don't know what he thinking after that sparring. I could just be panicking and saying anything, but hey, as far as I know, like I said, Canelo playing chess. He don't look at these sparring matches as just trying to get a feel for something. That's definitely not going on. I'll tell you one thing though, this was a bad move. This really was a bad move. I can't say too much about why it's a bad move, but this was a bad move, man. You never know. You got a lot of people that's in the building with you when you're doing all this sparring and fighting and just certain things. When you're around guys, people pick on things. People pick up on certain things pretty fast. And tell you, man, I'm telling you. That's why certain guys, when they fight sparring partners or guys they fought in the past, sometimes the fight looks different. Most of the time, guys can make adjustments. They know what to watch out for. Yeah, it's just not a good look. Like I said, to be the first black fighter that I know that's on that level to get in the ring with Canelo as far as sparring, that's definitely not a badge of honor in my eyes. I could be wrong though. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. It's not a badge of honor though. Shout out to Rude Exposure. What's going on, dog? Shout out to George Smith too. He said based off Shakur latest tweets, it seemed like T.O. might be back in play. Yeah, that T.O. got to make some serious picks because that's Netflix. From what I seen, Netflix is not going to be handing out too many opportunities next year. It looks like they'll possibly have like 2 or 3 fights. It looked like 3, but it could be 2, depending on what's going on with this T.O. situation. It's that Boost brother sparred Canelo years ago. Yeah, I seen that. That Boost brother has sparred him. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, he definitely has been around Canelo and has met him. I definitely know that was a connection. So I can understand that as far as him being around Canelo, his brother, and sparring him. But at this time right now, that ain't a good look. Like hopefully I hope he knows that with the history of Canelo using that information for something else. He gonna make sure that Virgil Ortiz is fully prepared when he faces Jerron Ennis. When Virgil Ortiz is ready to face Jerron Ennis, uh, even though Virgil Ortiz is over there with Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo will make sure he needs everything he needs. He'll get everything he needs as far as preparation or any kind of notes or hints. Allegedly, he'll make sure that he gets all those details. For sure, he will. He gonna make sure. Cause that right there, a couple of hints from Canelo to Virgil Ortiz, that'll cripple American boxing. It'll be over for a while. It'll cripple it. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. So while everybody's thinking that this just a sparring, okay. All these eggs everybody putting in Boo's basket. We letting People running around with his sparring details, and we just seen how 147 was looking very skimp. He said they're taking a spotlight off the fact that Tank is fighting the Greenway. You don't knock Jake Paul out and flip the script. That's worse. Yeah, it is. It is. It's horrible. If Tank don't knock out Jake Paul, bro, if he go out there and pull a Mike Tyson after Mike Tyson, what Mike did versus Jake Paul, and then if he does the same thing Chavez did, it's gonna be a bad look. Anything like Chavez or Mike is gonna be a bad look. So hopefully Tank does get a knockout. I was thinking at first he ain't got to get a knockout. Man, he need a knockout. He needs a knockout. No way he can clinch a guy who's 200 pounds for 10 rounds. Yeah, you got to go for a knockout. He was looking funny clinching Roach. I can imagine him trying to clinch Jake Paul 10 rounds. That's gonna look crazy. But yeah, the guys is rubbing shoulders with Canelo too much. Canelo is doing a lot of things uh, to cripple American boxing, allegedly. And for some reason, we going from that to people saying, well, he trying to make somebody better. Bro, when? Since yesterday? This man 35 years old. We talking about he trying to make somebody better yesterday. That's crazy. Canelo 35, man. They talking about yesterday he trying to make somebody better. He don't got the history of making people better. I just haven't seen it yet. Yeah, the way I seen Hey Rude, I'm glad you brought that up. I seen Logan Paul. Bro, I forgot how that fight with him and Floyd was. I forgot Logan Paul was letting his hands go like that. Yeah, that's the way I see it going though. That's exactly the way I see it going. I think Jake Paul could go in there letting his hands go like Logan did. Yeah, I forgot that Logan was throwing his hands like that until I seen it on Twitter. I was like, dang, he was trying to get Floyd up out of there. Look different when you watching it live. Yeah, he tried to get Floyd up out of there though. That's how you do it. At least he went for the knockout. Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, the way that people reacting to the news, they're not really tripping over it like that. They don't really see too much of they don't see the harm in it. They like, why is this such a big deal? You know what I'm saying? They were like, why is this a big deal? But somebody said should Virgil spar Benavidez or should Bud spar Virgil or Benavidez? Told you. I knew somebody was gonna say the same. Somebody else said it. Should Bud spar Virgil or Benavidez? Said it on Twitter. Yeah, we see what time it is, man. They talking about Canelo was getting beat up in sparring by Boots because how he was looking on the picture. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I see what they saying, but they tripping. The way Moses Thomas was looking at these far at the I mean the way that Tyson Fury was looking at these far Moses Thomas, that's a dude you know that was getting beat up. I don't know if I still got the picture up here. They talking about where is it at? Yeah, here you go right here. Truck, they acting like Canelo looking like that after the sparring. Now look at this dude's face. I said this, I want to say after Tyson Fury fought Usyk the second time. I said, bro, why is his face looking like this fighting this 19-year-old guy? Now, if Canelo was looking like this, I'd be like, okay, he be getting the brakes beat off of him. But no, he's not even red. Now, Tyson Fury, he was getting the brakes beat off of him. For sure, for sure. He was getting the brakes beat off of him. Yeah, Canelo face ain't looking like that. Yeah, because you can see, let me see, you can see Boo's face, Canelo face right there. Look at Canelo face right there, y'all. Y'all see Canelo face in the background? Right? You see his face. That's after he sparred Boots. Then look at Tyson Fury's face. Now look at Tyson Fury's face. I ain't talking about the part where his eyes red because that's just a reflection off the camera. I'm talking about where his eyes red on the left and on the right side. This dude's out there getting beat up. So yeah, it definitely wasn't like that. People like, yeah, Boots was out there putting hands on Canelo. 3 weeks before the fight. Come on now. Canelo ain't that stupid. Yeah, Canelo's definitely not that dumb. I don't think he gonna do no hard sparring like that anyways. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Tyaz went out there and got beat down, man. I'm gonna watch that fight again when I get off of here. That was a good fight, man. I thought Boots could have beat Tyaz, man. That was a fight I really wanted to see. That was definitely a fight I wanted to see. But let me see. Anybody said something else down here? It said Floyd was in a high guard. Well, Floyd, hey, Rude, that was the best high guard I done seen Floyd have. I ain't gonna lie to you. Floyd was blocking punches. But I can't even talk about it. I'm in no laughing. I was watching that today. I was like, dang, Floyd was blocking punches all around his head. But no, Jerron Ennis always fought anybody though. The man has always fought anybody. But this right here, this something I ain't never seen happen before in history. So for everybody to act like a normal man, I don't know, man. I don't like being the youngest guy freaking out over something, and people like, man, he tripping. But most of these people don't know this ain't never happened before. Canelo don't spar elite black fighters. That's not what's going on out here. He already don't like guys fighting guys in the ring who he says run. So why would he spar somebody that's considered a runner? But he doesn't like that type of style though. He doesn't usually spar the style of guys that move and move around. Some people say he's being desperate. Other people say that Ennis is getting better. But it's weird though. Like he doesn't spar guys that move around. But as far as the connection with Ennis's brother, yeah, that definitely makes sense. As far as that, that's something I knew recently. I didn't know that a long time. That was something I learned recently. So yeah, that could be one of the main reasons why he around. But nah, man, I don't know. When you got these many fights lined up and they're not really being taken, but then you're in the ring with you trying to spar with Canelo, it's just like just not a good look. What if Terrence Crawford would have did something like this? If Terrence Crawford had to fight with Earl Spence lined up, or not even Earl Spence, probably Mazramov, and he like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and spar somebody. Let me go ahead and spar Virgil Ortiz so I can get right for this Mazramov fight. The difference between Terrence Crawford and everybody else is they expect Terrence Crawford to fight everybody. So they won't want him to spar a Virgil Ortiz or a Canelo because they expect him to fight guys like that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That doesn't sound like a compliment. Is it a good thing that Terrence Crawford would never ever spar Canelo Alvarez? Is it a good thing that Bivol or Mayweather would never spar Canelo Alvarez? Oh no, you gotta look at certain things like that. Sometimes, man, being the most talented guy, you don't always have to reach back or reach up and try to. I mean, it's good to gain knowledge from people, but bad timing, dog. Be real, bad timing. A lot of people not going for this. Just not. It been little things already here and there, and people just not going for it. But the people who are cool with it, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. That's why they have no standards right now. Bro, that's a lot of people right now in boxing that have no standards. They don't care how these boxers are moving. Tank's showing it. Tank is showing right now they don't have no standards in boxing. Whichever way they're gonna go, it don't matter. Depending on what day it is. They're gonna complain about Jake Paul for a couple of days, but they're gonna get used to it. They complained about Crawford versus Canelo, but they got used to it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, when Charlo sat up here and fought Castano and had that first fight and it was a draw, Do people have to understand how much Canelo had to go out of his way to get in touch with this guy and talk about how he felt like he beat Charlo? Now, this is the same Canelo who had controversy with certain stuff going on. Also, he had a situation with Triple G where people felt like he lost, and those were controversial draws and decisions he had. But that's crazy to me though, for him to sit up here and be like, "Yeah, Castano, I feel like he beat Charlo," and people don't see they don't see the play. I mean, I kind of feel bad for you if you don't see the play. You don't see the play, to be honest with you. If you don't see the play, then bro, to be honest with you, you ain't gonna be safe out here. What I'm starting to realize now, a lot of people ain't safe out here because they don't know what's going on. They can't even understand why Canelo called Castano, and Castano is not Mexican, and he ain't him and Canelo ain't homeboys. They ain't got no history or nothing like that. He made sure to tell that man, "Hey, you beat Charlo." I didn't know beating Charlo was a big deal until Canelo said something. I said, "Oh, Charlo's a big deal now." You know you're a big deal if Canelo staying up late at night to see if this guy named Brian Castano could beat you. Then he turns around and fights you to finish the job. Canelo at home, because you know people don't think sparring matters and stuff. I'm pretty sure Canelo got in the ring with Castano. He said, because you know people don't think sparring matters. He sparred Castano. Probably already knew he was better than Castano. Said, yeah, I can fight Charlo. If Castano can get a draw with Charlo, I know I can beat him. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. For boxers, we just fans. You know, some boxers they gotta do the extra to try to be great. It's not easy to be great in boxing. It's not easy to be great. Some of my favorite boxers, they don't really deal with too many of the elite guys. They're trying to be elite too, so it's only so much you can really learn from another elite fighter without being giving away all your knowledge and secrets, your whole style, and yeah, you don't want to try to do that. But I don't know though, man. I would have thought that Jerron Ennis looked at himself like a guy who could fight a Canelo Alvarez, and people will say that's ridiculous, bro. Everybody else around that same weight class that people think that's just as talented as he is. No, they think that he's talented more than a lot of other guys. They think he has more talent than Crawford, Spence. They don't say Charlo, but if you think he has more talent than those guys, that means Charlo too. Yeah, but they ain't gonna put him in the mix with Canelo, man. They leave that job for Terrence Crawford. I'm just being real. Y'all know what time it is, bro. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all know what time it is. Ain't nobody sitting around here trying to put Jerron Ennis in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. They're gonna be happy with the sparring, and that's what's up. That just confirms that nobody need to be in the ring with Terrence Crawford being happy sparring uh, Canelo Alvarez. I'm just being real. Well, all the fights that's on the table right now, nah, ain't nobody trying to get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. Ain't nobody trying to get in the ring with Terrence Crawford right now. Let these people keep saying that they want to. I said in the video last year, and I'm not being funny, 154 is a very dangerous division. This dude Taez just got the brakes beat off him tonight. And that was a guy I thought Jerron Ennis had a good chance of beating up. Now I don't know if this guy's African or he's from the UK, but he just beat the brakes off of Taez tonight. To be honest with y'all, if Taez would have went one more round, it would have got, bruh, it was getting there to the point where, like, to be honest with you, I hope he's safe right now because it got real. He looked like he was getting hurt bad in that fight. It shouldn't have went 12 rounds. That's how bad it was. But 154 is dangerous right now. Like the fight I just seen, bro, it's not a big time fight. And dudes was getting ruined in that fight. Being honest with you, that dude Taez he wasn't supposed to go 12 rounds. That was borderline. Hey, send this guy to the hospital. So that's not an easy weight class. So for everybody to just be thinking that guys is gonna be running up to 154 and everybody gonna lay down, it's not really gonna happen. Definitely not gonna happen. I see people talking about Baccarat. Like Charlo wasn't Baccarat mandatory. So yeah, this is old smoke that should have been taken care of a long time ago. So yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of guys running. I'm not too much of a fan of guys running behind Canelo Alvarez. Whether it's sparring or it don't matter what it is. You can let everybody else tell you if they want to. And guys, which is okay, but they put too much respect on Canelo's name. Like, oh yeah, whatever somebody's doing with Canelo, it gotta be positive. Man, ain't nobody learning from Canelo like that. If that was the case, you would have heard somebody right now saying Ryan Garcia needs to go back over there with Canelo Alvarez. You ever heard one person out here, even after Ryan Garcia has looked trash like he has, you ever heard not one person say he need to go over there and start sparring Canelo and working with him again? Nobody. They know better. But they'll sit up here and try to tell you, yeah, Ennis, he gonna learn something that Ryan Garcia couldn't. I'm telling you, if stuff like this keeps going on, it's gonna be a million Teofimo Lopez running around that ain't gonna be fighting nobody, and they gonna be saying guys like Ennis is ducks. Don't y'all know that right now Teofimo is not really picking a fight like that, but they saying that Jerron Ennis turned down a fight with Teofimo Lopez, and people are calling him a duck. The only fight they said that Teofimo Lopez got turned down by was Ennis, which is a horrible look. You don't see nobody out here talking about, man, Ennis out here ducking Teofimo. Bro, do y'all think I really care about a sparring match between him and Canelo? Who cares? If I really cared, I'd be asking the real questions right now. Like, what's up with Teofimo running around talking about you ducking? Why is he saying that? And why is he okay talking like that? And Canelo was over there with Tio. Who knows? What if Tio sit up here and be like, hey Canelo, I need some help on this thing, man. I'm trying to figure out how to really attack him. Oh, I know how to do that. Yeah, I just don't trust guys like that. I don't know. Maybe that's a new thing that's going on in boxing. As far as I know, Floyd and all these guys, they wasn't trusting people like that coming up. Yeah, I wouldn't get too used to that. History shows that's not a good look. So if nobody learned anything tonight, one thing we learned is no black fighters is running over there sparring Canelo Alvarez. I don't care what nobody's talking about. You can have a dude who's uh, punch drunk and he need a check every week. He still ain't going over there. So these excuses that people throwing out, these are the worst excuses you'll ever hear in your life, ever. Just like old boy said recently, I'm the dude from the UK. They have a Pakistani population out there in the UK. They got a few fighters like Adam Azim. They got Shiraz, Amir Khan. You ain't finna see Amir Khan go spar Canelo before Canelo fight Shiraz. Bro, you ain't finna see that happen. I'm telling you that right now. They ain't got 1,000 fighters in pro boxing. It's only like 4 or 5 of them. They not finna sit around here and say, "Hey, let me get Canelo ready before Shiraz get in the ring with him." I'm telling you, no boxer ain't finna do that. The only one you might find that might do it is a black fighter. And a lot of the elders are upset about that in boxing right now, man. The only person you'll find in boxing to do something like that will be a black guy. You ain't finna find no Cuban fighters doing it. None of these guys. I forgot where that guy Hernandez is from. Where Hernandez from? Ain't he Cuban? Yanili Hernandez? Yeah, he's from Cuba. Trust me, if David Morrell was fighting Canelo Alvarez, he wasn't about to be over there sparring no Canelo Alvarez. Man, bro, okay. Okay. This man would not be over there sparring no Canelo Alvarez. It's not going down. So yeah, a lot of these other guys, you might not even be able to fit in. A lot of these new boxers, they might not even be able to fit in. All you can do is probably just spar. You can't even join the team like that. And Canelo ain't finna ask none of these dudes to join the team. Cause they're gonna be like, man, as soon as I got a fight coming up, you gonna go spar somebody. You gonna spar somebody else trying to get yourself ready. Nah, I can't do that. Yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, yeah, William Skull recently. What the guy your was the guy yo nearly sparring with Canelo recently around that time? He possibly was. I'm not too sure though. I'll admit if I'm wrong on that one. He possibly was. That's why I'm pointing it out now. So when he fought William Skull, who's from Cuba, he possibly was sparring Canelo. But I'm gonna be honest with you, even with him doing that, that's odd. That's very odd. Yeah, you just don't see stuff like that. don't know, man. A lot of people don't like certain things getting out as far as the sparring and in camp. And for Canelo to be, and Canelo, he feels like, oh yeah, I've been around Jerron and his brother, so you know, he been around Jerron and his brother, so he feel like they can keep a secret as far as he trusts them. That's crazy. That's crazy. The man, he'll trust Jerron Ennis' camp before he trusts Benavidez in sparring, leading up to a big fight. They know he gonna be on cold. You gotta think about that. Allegedly, they know he gonna be on cold. But when Canelo was about to spar Benavidez, they like, nah, I'm finna cancel this. I don't know if he gonna be on cold or not. He might give out some secrets. Now, mind you, why would he cancel the sparring? Because people will be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You can't really learn anything. Canelo shut down the sparring with Benavidez. He was hiding something. Because Triple G was sparring him around the same time. So there's something, the way that the moves was being made, it seemed like it was something that Canelo didn't want Triple G to see, or he didn't want Benavidez to see, or maybe he was running from the sparring. Either one is bad. Yeah, it wasn't something he wanted to see in the sparring, I guess. So that shows right there that, man, why is Ennis over there with a dude who don't want to share details as far as in sparring? That's why Canelo don't really work with a lot of guys like that. Yeah, that's an eye opener. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like Canelo know, like, man, I ain't gotta worry about nothing, man. He ain't gonna say nothing. Cause dudes can go home and just hop on the phone, man. Yeah, man, I seen him pivot doing this, drop his hands when he do this. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. They probably got Zoom calls going on right now. Yeah, if this is going on right now with Terrence Crawford as far as bringing Jerron Ennis in, they probably got Zoom calls in with guys that Terrence Crawford fought. Cause they said they was bringing in some sparring partners, but I'm like, Ennis? Wow, that's crazy. It's just if Jerron Ennis was in this position and fighting Canelo, if Terrence Crawford was sparring Canelo right now, I'd be like, bruh, Canelo, I'd be like, Terrence Crawford tripping. So I don't know why everybody's trying to make this a Terrence Crawford and Boots Ennis thing. Bro, if anybody was doing this, it would look crazy. I mean, did everybody see when people was looking at Floyd crazy about the Ryan Garcia thing? And Floyd's not an active fighter or nothing. And even that was a big deal. Then people say he hating on Tank. Yeah, they don't want to call this out. They don't want to call it out because they know how it looks. But shout out to J Man, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. They don't want to call it out because they know how it looks. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. These young boxers, they just gonna make themselves look crazy. We seen it happen with Keyshawn. People just gonna keep watching these dudes crash out, make weird decisions, and just co-sign it. That's why I'm getting on here now saying what I need to say. Everybody who's listening, I just want all y'all to take this one information from me, and that's it. Canelo's not sparring any other elite black boxers. Okay? I need y'all to get that information, spread it around. You ain't gotta say you got it from me. I just want y'all to say that because for some reason these dudes think they know what they're talking about, and they're actually running around talking like Canelo is out here giving elite black fighters an opportunity. He's using this man for what he need him for. That's it. If he didn't need him for sparring, he wouldn't be using him. Canelo can get access to any boxer in boxing. Trust me. He can get access to anybody. He was getting the same kind of sparring partners as Floyd. Him and Floyd had the same kind of sparring partners. So yeah, they've been in the same kind of situations, but it ain't gonna be no codes going on though. That's why in the future with Virgil Ortiz and Ennis, they gonna have to figure it out, man, because Virgil Ortiz got Erickson Lubin coming up. This man finna fight Erickson Lubin. The only thing people gonna talk about as far as for the next 5 months with Jerron Ennis is gonna be the sparring between him and Canelo Alvarez. Then if Terrence Crawford go out there and beat him, you're gonna have people saying, well, Jerron Ennis kind of ruined Canelo in the sparring anyways. In the sparring, Canelo was done at these spars Jerron Ennis. So you're gonna see some reaching going on. But that's all that's gonna go on though. He gonna end up sparring this Canelo and then fighting the Lima guy. And Virgil Ortiz gonna end up fighting Erickson Lubin. And people are worried about sparring right now. We need somebody else to step up to replace Terrence Crawford. As far as black boxers, we need some real black boxers who gonna step up. Everybody who trying to get famous, yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's a lot of black fighters I want to see make money and get famous, but those ain't my favorites. I don't really check boxing for that. I kind of like guys like Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason don't call nobody out. He ain't on the internet talking about somebody ducking. He ain't running around tweeting nobody. And everybody know he want to smoke, and they know he got hands, and they know he a monster. He ain't got to do none of this extra stuff. He ain't got to jump up and spar with certain people. It's just different, man. You know when somebody a monster, man. You can't be fooled. But these new guys, I'm telling y'all, man. Cause I was like, man, I like Keyshawn. He can box, but I just don't know him. But I don't know about him. I don't got a good feeling about him. Said the same thing about Tank. I was like, man, I think Tank really got skills, but I don't think he's trying to be great like that. So yeah, all this stuff starting to happen right now, 2025. All that stuff people were saying about, oh, this gonna happen, or I think this, man, 2025 going on right now. Everything that people said was gonna happen, it ain't happening. It's definitely not happening. Yeah, this is crazy though. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This is probably one of the worst things I've seen in a while. People think it's an over exaggeration as far as Duran Ennis sparring Canelo, but bruh, this don't do nothing, bruh. Nothing. Dudes don't know what's actually going on in boxing. Do they not know that even in American boxing right now, let's just go to heavyweights. All right, American heavyweights ain't getting no credit for bringing back heavyweight boxing. Okay, that's first thing. The second thing is the heavyweight division is basically what got Turkey Al Sheik interested in boxing all the way because that was one of his first events was heavyweights. And then dealing with Joshua and Tyson Fury. But guys ain't getting credit for like in boxing as far as the American boxers. They're not getting credit like that. They got a 20-year-old Moses Thomas that's getting credit right now in boxing. Like guys ain't getting credit like that. The kind of credit they getting that you don't want to get. Like, oh, you helped Canelo do this. This is why you're great. Nah, you don't want to be in that category, dog. I'm gonna be real with you. That man better get out of that category ASAP. Soon. Cause I think it's just fluff at this point. You being the only guy to go over there and spar, I don't think it's any. I don't want to say anything negative, but man, got to get some veterans around you to tell you how this thing operates. Bro, there be so many people around when you sparring, bro. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like what's that one movie they had that Tarantino did when all those guys walked into that warehouse when they all had them suits on. Yeah, that's how sparring is, man. Everybody's still going, no matter what. Everybody trying to see how good you are. If somebody asks, "Hey, you ever seen so and so spar? You ever spar with Ennis?" Oh yeah, he was in the sparring with Canelo. Oh, how did that go? Yeah, nobody else getting details out there like that. I'm pretty sure if Canelo probably would have sparred Charlo already, he probably would have been able to stop him. I think being the fighter that Canelo is, if he would have sparred Charlo years before that, he would have stopped him. I was looking at that fight last night. I said Canelo couldn't do nothing with Charlo. Charlo was doing small stuff like going left to right, throwing a jab in the middle of moving. Yeah, Charlo was doing some weird stuff. He was just throwing stuff towards Canelo's shoulders and chest, keeping him off balance, just moving left to right a lot early, first couple of rounds. I realized, I said, man, if Charlo would have sparked Canelo like one time, Canelo would have beat him up pretty bad in that fight. Because as that fight went on, Canelo started to get his timing down. which he does. They pointed that out in a few fights recently. He gets people timing down and starts to cut out the ring a lot better. But I don't know, man. I just see a lot of pluses as far as for these guys at 154. I want to look at something too. Let me go to the 154 division. We know Taez lost tonight, but you got Bakaram up there. Then you got Virgil Ortiz, Xander Zayas, Sebastian Fendora. You got Thurman, Majamal, Chuck Lubin, Ramos. Yeah, you got a few guys up there, man. Then you also, hey, I'm gonna say that for tomorrow. I ain't even gonna do it. Do y'all? Let me see. Let me see if I got some time to do this. What time is it? Uh, should I say this? Let me see real quick. I got y'all on here. I might as well say it. Y'all on here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out here for y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all why that was the biggest mistake that Ennis could have did. And I'm gonna tell you why. I just thought of this just now. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Give me a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Tell you why that was a big mistake. Yeah, I think he had got the. So they got this fighter, and I just thought about this recently. It's crazy. Appreciate that. Hold on. Appreciate everybody for yeah, Charlo laid it down, bro. Especially on our standard, J man. He laid it down. But I'm gonna give y'all something real quick that's gonna be a little deeper than a lot of other people will realize. But I wasn't even gonna talk about this, but I'm glad I thought about this just now. I want y'all to look at this real quick. Pull this guy up real quick. Show you something real quick. As far as with boxing. Pull this guy up. So y'all know who this is. If nobody know who this is, I will tell them in a minute. Does anybody know who this guy with Eddie Reynoso is? Let me see if I can get a picture of him. I'll pull this picture up. This guy is Marco Verde. People will be like, "Why are you bringing that up?" Marco Verde. Marco Verde is a 154 Olympian, silver medalist that basically Eddie Reynoso and Team Canelo just started working with. And the guy's at 154. If this guy's a 154, right? Who is his competition? If Marco Verde is a silver medalist who just signed with Eddie Reynoso and Team Canelo, silver medalist out of Mexico, 154. Who is his competition right now at 54? Who is Canelo's fighter, Marco Verde? Who is his competition? Who will be a super fight for him in a couple of years? Whenever he's ready to fight champions. Who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be Virgil Ortiz or who would it be? Because while everybody's sitting there talking about sparring and everything, oh man, y'all talking about on code, bro. Y'all, you just thinking about you laughing at us because you thinking about we worried about being on code, but you don't even realize that, bro. Y'all get they getting intel on you. They getting intel on you. That's what they doing. Playing chess. Exactly. Appreciate that, J man. Boots. They playing chess. They playing chess. And this is what happens when you don't sit around and just ask questions. Dude's gonna have a lot of access, but you think that Marco Verde, man, Mexico was finna invest behind this guy. He's already a silver medalist. He got skills. He's the highest accomplished Mexican fighter they had in the last few years from Mexico. Most talented fighter they had since Canelo. He's directly associated with him. Then he joins up with Canelo Alvarez. So this is the new golden guy, the golden child. This is the guy who's supposed to be the next big thing. So when it's time for Bruce Ennis to fight this guy, guess what Canelo gonna do? Okay, think it's a game, man. Think it's a game. Everybody worry about Boots running down on Terrence Crawford. You got a million people running down on Boots Ennis, and it might sound like a crazy number, but you got a million people out here who feel like in 10, 12 round fight they could probably beat him. Then you got guys who professional, got silver medals, got Team Canelo behind them. I definitely wouldn't go over there and spar with them. That was the worst thing that Ennis could actually do because Terrence Crawford never had that many guys in one division that could actually mix it up. And people not even thinking about this guy. Y'all got to think about this. This is Canelo's newest fighter who is a silver medalist, and people not even thinking about him. He flying under the radar. Y'all got to think about this. This guy's considered the next Canelo, technically. But he flying under the radar. Think about that. You got more prospects that's done less than him, but that's being talked about more. So I already know what the time. I already know what the game is. Keep having all these guys go over there sparring Canelo. Okay, I bet y'all ain't gonna spar this dude. I bet you they ain't gonna spar this dude. When they gonna spar Canelo, they ain't gonna never see this guy in the ring in the gym. They ain't gonna spar him. He ain't there for that. And this dude is a silver medalist. It's not a bum. This is not somebody they trying to put together. This dude got real hands. Real hands. They're gonna move him very carefully. But from what I've seen, Canelo went immediately and tried to sign this guy. They know what they got. He probably going back right now, like, yeah, man, I don't know, but Buddy probably close to being better than Boots. See, everybody thinking right now, okay, Boots probably put hands on Canelo. Canelo and Eddie Reynoso probably saying, "Hey, man, how you feel about Verde versus Boots? Who you think? How you think that fight would go right now?" Yeah, they just plotting. That's all it is. And this is why Canelo's one of the best, bro. This is why he's one of the best because he's learned, he's looked around and seen how other guys are moving when it comes to sparring. This is why he's one of the best for real. I'm being real with y'all. Canelo is one of the best because he studied everything from Oscar to Floyd, everything they do. And Tank has as well. Tank has as well. That's why it's hard for people to really pick up on the mistakes they be making because they don't make a lot of mistakes. They tell you what's gonna happen. Just like Canelo told people, I ain't fighting Benavidez. He ain't say maybe, I'll think about it. He like, nah, I ain't fighting him. So these guys is calculated. They know what's going on. They're not just moving and doing everything. But like I said, this kind of started off being a video about being on code, but now y'all starting to realize Canelo is the code. If everybody else talking about, yeah, I ain't on code, bro, you finna be you better not be in a division with one of his fighters. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't think Boots understand what's at 54. After Canelo fight Terrence Crawford, he might not have no reason to be around Boots again. For what? My fighter I have, he's in competition with you, so there's no reason to be buddy buddy with you. Yeah, I might have to make a video out of that because to let people know how serious it is out here. I might just let that fly under the radar for a little while because people not really focusing on Buddy anyways. So I'll just let that kind of stay in the shadows so y'all will know. Y'all hearing it now. So when y'all see Buddy face pop up and he start fighting a little bit more, then you'll realize, oh, okay, that's the guy Canelo was getting ready for if he needs to fight Boots. Now you notice that guy ain't gonna spar Boots. So Canelo in his mind already saying, oh, yeah, I ain't gonna fight Boots. But the dude Verde, if it come a time where he need to fight Boots, it'll happen. So you ain't gonna see that guy sparring Boots. That makes sense now. Definitely makes sense. I knew I was gonna figure something out before I got off this live. That makes sense. And I've said that before about Canelo getting the guy ready, but I didn't think about that as far as somebody sparring and him looking at how those guys match up with him at 54. Because you gotta think about it. There's no reason for him to fight a spar 54 right now. Even if Jerron Ennis switch sides and everything else, there's no reason. So yeah, this is the perfect time. He's not fighting Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, this makes sense. I highly doubt that Canelo would have been sparring Jerron Ennis if he had a fight coming up with Virgil Ortiz. And I'm being real with you. Until it was actually official that he wasn't fighting Virgil Ortiz, I ain't seen no videos of him popping up sparring him. They probably been in the gym and whatever, but I don't think Canelo would do that. I haven't seen that happen before, so that'll be a first time as well. But yeah, man, a lot of people gotta realize like if you're gonna look at boxing as a business, you gotta start to realize too, like these boxers look at it as a business. It's competitive all the way around. Some of these guys like to gamble or like to be competitive as far as golf or whatever they like to do. But Canelo, he's competitive all the way around. Sparring, working out in the gym, fights, everything. And I've heard a story recently. I'm not gonna talk about it too much because a lot of it kind of dangerous, bro. Like the stuff that was said about the sparring with Canelo, but it ain't just a simple sparring like everybody thinks. It's a lot different than what everybody else is actually doing when they go spar. It's not just a simple thing, man. It's a whole routine. You got a whole bunch of people in there. They're not letting a lot of people get in there because they don't want a lot of information leaking out. That's why I said it's crazy that he got so much trust, but I don't know. Maybe that's being professional. Maybe that's a huge compliment that he earned, but I don't look at it that way, man. I'm gonna be honest. Even the young guys right now in boxing, even they know this is like a because we've seen Keyshawn spar with what we heard is Keyshawn sparring Teofimo Lopez, but a lot of guys know this ain't it right here. Cause you didn't really hear about nobody sparring Ryan Garcia before he fought Tank. That was never a thing. That would have been a huge story. I think that would have been a bigger story than anything else. Like Ryan Garcia sparring uh Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney before a Tank fight. That would have been a big story. That's why I say stuff like that just doesn't happen. But you know what the crazy part is? What if a lot of guys just start doing that now? What if it just start happening? You don't want stuff like that to get normal, right? That's why you can't give stuff certain things passes because once it becomes normal, then everybody gonna say, like, when people like to see certain guys get their sparring posted. He said, "Dad got a new interview out. I'm gonna check that out." I seen with those guys from the zone. It was it was one I was supposed to watch, Jay man. Cause the last one I seen was I think Cigar Talk, and then it was Andre Ward before that. But I seen he had one. I think it was with those guys, Akabarak. Yeah, Devin like he ready to go, man. This fight between him and Brian Norman getting serious. Yeah, that fight between him and Brian Norman getting serious. After this Crawford and Canelo fight, it's gonna get the promotion for that fight gonna get real. I don't know, man. It's getting treated like a main event right now. I know Benavidez gonna fight Yard, and that's gonna be an action-packed fight. Like Yard versus Benavidez, that's gonna be an action-packed fight, man. I know Brian Norman and Haney at the moment is a bigger fight, but I had to think about it last night. I forgot who said something. I think it was E92. Somebody said it might have been Jordan. Somebody said something about Yard last night. I think it was John. But yeah, Yard always in an exciting fight, so you never know, man. Oh yeah, them the zone dudes. Sometimes they be cool. They be going in. Sometimes on the box, I'm like, dang, relax. Y'all going in on the boxers too hard. Yeah, I didn't see that one, Jamie. I think it came out like a couple of days ago. It might have been longer than that. Yeah, that's one I haven't even seen yet. I gotta watch it. I had got off live yesterday and seen Roach was on the live on Twitch. Then I seen him and Moten going back and forth. And J Man, the crazy part is I didn't even know that Moten and Floyd and all those guys were going back and forth. We sitting there talking about Floyd and Moten yesterday. Joe was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Got Lamont Roach got a big buzz right now in boxing. A huge buzz. He took that tank fight and turned it into a whole new career. He's supposed to. He definitely supposed to. But we got to see what's going on with this 154 division, man. I know as far as we're in, it's him sparring Canelo. It's a plus to some people, but bro, you gotta start fighting somebody now. Like for real. The way Virgil Ortiz is checking in for with Lubin, that's not a good look, man. Imagine if Jerron Ennis was fighting Lubin. That's all everybody be talking about right now. But you got Virgil Ortiz fighting him. Yeah, Carmel, he was calling out Lamont Roach. He trying to see what Lamont Roach talking about. Lamont Roach told him, hey, shoot, Abdullah Mason is really a bigger threat. I'm not gonna lie, man. I had to think about it. Y'all haven't heard about too many names yet, but Kamel Moten does have a few names down there with some guys that can really box. I know Floyd Schofield's a younger guy, but the dude John Arabio, I think he at 140, 135, 140. That dude cracking. He can punch. I'm talking about he can punch. They got a lot of names down there. I'm just gonna say that. I understand he calling out Roach right now, but it's a lot of things like what Canelo and Tank is doing at certain weight classes. When like a lot of these fights start getting made, it's a certain buildup that's happening. And a lot of these young guys, they're gonna have to fight a lot more than the average person will. Especially the competition. If you look at Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu had to fight Fedor twice and Baccarat as soon as he got to America. You know, usually when you get to America, you're not fighting the top guys immediately, but they trying to figure out what these dudes about. That's what's crazy about this generation. That's why Floyd Schofield. That's why he was able to knock out Tevin Farmer because 5 years ago they weren't putting on fights like that. That's why the Lomachenko and T.O. was such a big deal. When Joseph Parker fought Anthony Joshua, that was a big deal because Joseph Parker was still a young guy, very young. So a lot of those opportunities don't really happen. But now you got a lot of young guys like, man, I'm finna retire, old boy. That's a whole different kind of mentality they got. I don't know why they think like that, but you got a lot of young fighters now that want to retire these guys. They're not really respecting a lot of the older fighters. You know, they mess with Floyd, but these other guys, they look at them like stepping stones, to be honest with you. Yeah, they're trying to replace everybody. And it's just normal. You know, you got new guys coming into the sport of boxing and it's getting tougher. Everybody can't hang around. But yeah, Mo, he got a few names that he gonna be busy in a little bit. It's a lot of big names. Only because Tank and a lot of other guys aren't really fighting that much at 135. Only person who really been busy at 135 is Tevin Farmer. Everybody else been kind of chilling. And Tevin Farmer just got to 135. This man got the 135. Tevin Farmer got the 135 at against Sparrow in 2023. And he's already fought Murtaz, the Pay to Talk twice, the Schofield. So yeah, 135 is definitely starting to move, but those young guys, they're gonna have some fights. It ain't too much action going on. It's a lot of guys in their 30s that ain't fought yet. You still got Albert Bell who ain't fought nobody. He's fought somebody, but he hasn't been in those big tough fights yet. Especially for a championship. You said Virgil a hot job. We gotta see, man. We gotta see. It could be proven, but we gotta see, man. I just wanted to see Virgil rematch Chuck. I'm not gonna lie. That's the only thing I wanted to see Virgil do. And to be honest with you, Virgil was always better than what I thought he was at first. So yeah, at this point right now, I don't know how good he is. He might be better in the next couple of months, but I'm not really high on him like that. And then after that Chuck performance, I'm not too high on him. I can't lie. Not because he got dropped. I haven't seen that dominating performance yet where I'm like, oh okay. Against Mean Machine and other guys, yeah, but he is the favorite right now over a Boost because I'm not too high on the Stanionis win. But we got to see next year, man. We definitely got to see next year. We know it's not gonna happen this year. But yeah, I would say Virgil got the edge though, man. He fighting tougher fights right now. That means more than anything. He fighting tougher fights. He said about I can't even say the dude's name. They were saying the name so well on the commentary. Yeah, but that's the fight I wanted to see, man, with Tyez. I'm sitting there watching it before I got on live. I'm like, man, this dude out there getting brakes beat off of him. Bro, Tyez got beat down bad. He got beat up bad. That's the worst beating I've seen since. I don't know, just a straight up beating. That's the worst one I've seen since the Pater got beat up. But it was worse than that. He said Virgil is one chicken wing away from 175. That boy the goat crazy. No, Virgil. You know what's crazy? Virgil actually looked slim at 154. I don't know. It could be just an age thing, or you don't know. You never know what goes on. But he looked slimmer at 154 though. I was saying it the other day. I'm like, that don't make any sense. He said a chicken wing for 175. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. I see a lot of guys that's getting fat outside of weigh-ins. I'm not gonna lie. I seen a few guys a chicken wing away from 175. He said one chicken wing away. I've seen a few guys like that though. At 175, man, that's easy to weigh when you fighting at 154. That dude Bakaram, he got to be at least 170. He got to be like 170. That dude's huge. Yeah, I be thinking he fights at 168 or something. Yeah, I've seen those guys at 154. They definitely be blowing up though. That's what's gonna make 150, not 154, but 160 better. 160 kind of dry right now. He ain't got nobody at 160. They begging Adamas to fight Janovic, but that fight not gonna happen, man. You might as well try to have Laura fight somebody. Yeah, 160 is it's very weak right now. I think in 2 years though, 160 gonna be the weight class. I'll give it 2 years. That's gonna be a real deal weight class. He says AB he'll fight Xander next. Oh yeah, it wasn't worse than that. Your five beating. You right, bro. That your five beating was pretty bad. That was a bad one. When he got to like the 11th, 12th round, I was like, man. Then when he got dropped in the 12th, yeah, as far as Tayez, yeah, it was worse than that. I don't know, man. I don't know if it was worse than that, man. Your five, that dude broke records when he beat your five. I don't know. Your five one was pretty bad, but it was close though. The Tayez guy, he got beat up pretty bad, bro. Yeah, he got beat up pretty bad. He was so happy the bell had. I'm not even gonna lie. He was so happy the bell went off at the end. He got beat up real bad in this fight. The only reason I say that is because I was actually scared for the guy to hit him two more times, and I don't think that ever happened to me in boxing. Where I was scared somebody get hit two more times in a boxing match. So yeah, it's not close because I knew your five was in worse shape than what Taez was, but yeah, it was close though. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question. Yeah, I want to see Sanjo. I want to see him fight Billy. I thought he would have actually got Billy, but I think Sanjo like 35 now. He was 34, but he's like 35, and he's built just like Billy. Strong, short, throw some huge uppercuts. But Lester Martinez and Billy gonna be a good fight. Yeah, that's gonna be a very tough fight to pick. Cause in Billy, he looked better his last fight, but yeah, Lester Martinez is no joke. Yeah, that dude's a problem. Yeah, I hope Ty went to the hospital too, man. I said the same thing. You could tell he was not trying to get stopped. He was not trying to lose. You could tell he was trying to go for the knockout. Yeah, dude almost put himself in the hospital trying to get a knockout. And everybody on the timeline right now talking about Tyez getting whooped. Everybody was saying he was getting whooped bad tonight. Yeah, he got beat up bad. And dude can box a lot better than that, but he looked like he was just trying to go in there and wing it a little bit. Trying to see how fast he can actually get the guy up out of there, but that guy wasn't no bum, man. In boxing right now, they don't have too many guys who's lower level boxers. Even these African fighters now, they got a lot of these guys got jabs. I'm talking about very good jabs. A couple of years ago, a lot of these guys could box, but they weren't able to keep certain opponents off of them. But if you can see the way that guy was jabbing against Tyez, it's a different kind of game now. You gotta be a complete boxer, man. Yeah, now he's the new intern WBA super welterweight champion. And this could be a guy that Boots can end up getting an intern belt from. Could have been Tyez, but that's over with now. Anthony Joshua watching boxing fights. Watching Ray Ford fight Abraham Nova. I gotta go back and watch that fight again. Yeah, that's wild though, man. You said reminded you of Conwell versus Perez? Dang, that's a good comparison. Yeah, it does remind you of that fight, to be honest with you. That fight does look like Conwell versus Perez. Yeah, I kind of overlooked this guy a little bit, but I thought it still was gonna be a good fight with Tyez on there. But I definitely overlooked the guy a little bit. I didn't really get to look at him. I didn't overlook Perez, but this guy I didn't get a chance to see him at all. With Tyez. After they said Tyez wasn't fighting Boots, I wasn't really interested in it, but for some reason I still checked in and saw it though. Watched the fight. It was a very good fight. Definitely fight of the night. I didn't catch the main event, but from what I'm hearing, that fight was definitely fight of the night. And that was a big fight for Jake Paul's card. To have a guy like Tyez go in there and get an upset. It's gonna be a lot of no-name boxers that's gonna want to get on those fight cards and have a chance to get an upset like that. Yeah, dude been having some decent matchups on his fight cards though. Yeah, I'll definitely give him credit for that one. You said he only lost to Jack Koke. It was a robbery. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna actually go back and look at that fight now. Because I looked at the record and I said his only loss is Jack Koke. I was like, I don't know about, cause you know Cocaine ain't just beating guys up like that. I was like, it's kind of weird that'll be your only loss. You know, you can run into a couple of more guys that match up like Coca, but yeah, only loss that was kind of weird. Yeah, a lot of these guys going into these hometowns and fighting these fighters in their hometowns or close to it, you'll definitely get robbed. Yeah, that was a good fight, J Man. Man, what's up, boxing channel? What's going on, dog? J Man, that was a good fight, bro. With Taez and bro, everybody on Twitter talking about it right now. Man, that was a good fight. As soon as I get off, I'm gonna turn that fight on again. I missed like the first two rounds, but man, this dude tried to take Taez's head off, man. He actually did though. He actually did. Man, this dude. Let me see if y'all can give y'all the here go the clip right here. I can't play it, but I'll put it in the comment section. Y'all look at this clip right here. We talking about a good fight that came on tonight. They put a split decision. I don't know about that. I figured they was gonna do split decision, but nah, man. Tyres almost got stopped, man. That dude's good. Yeah, a boss. Man, that dude a boss went out there was beating the brakes off of Tyres, man. I can't even lie. That dude fought like an animal tonight. That dude, hey, you know the crazy part is that dude a boss. He's better than that dude that Booster's gonna fight. He's better than that guy. Yeah, didn't even need a knockdown to win, man. And Tyez ain't an easy fight. That dude a boss is better than Lima. Yeah, that guy's not an easy fight, man. And this is kind of this is the turkey out of Sheik effect right here because that dude a boss. He came out of nowhere and got that upset. That fight was made up recently, like a month and a half ago. I'm telling you, in boxing, all you gotta do is put these mandatories together and make it happen. You're gonna see a real fight. Oh, Jack Colcane's loss was split decision. Yeah, I gotta go back and watch that. You say you feel like Devin gonna get stopped by Norman? Why would he take a fight like that? No, I think I don't know, man. It could go either way, but Devin, he's always felt power with the fighters. If it's anybody who's felt certain power with certain guys, it's definitely Devin. He done already felt Ryan's power, Tank. Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying though. Brian Norman is punching, but if it's anybody who can handle the power, it's definitely Devin. Only thing I would say is, will a lot of people be surprised by Norman's his boxing, because he could definitely go in there and surprise because he's still a young guy. As far as surprising of how good he can actually box, he can still catch a lot of people off guard with that. So yeah, we just got to see. But it's a tough matchup to be honest with you. People might not believe me, but I think this matchup is actually closer than Shakur and Tank, because you got a guy who's punching harder than Tank, and on paper, well, I know this for sure. Devin got a better jab than Shakur does. That's not even a question. Even Shakur cousin said that. He didn't say he got a better jab, but he picked the perfect boxer who jab he would use, and it was definitely Devin Haney. Even I seen the jab. I was watching Devin Haney fight Ryan. I was going back and watching the fight. I'm like, man, this dude, this dude jab was crazy in that fight. I think a lot of people forget that, but I was like, man, the dude jab is crazy. Telling y'all, go back and watch that Ryan and Devin fight. Just look at Devin throwing that jab. I was like, whoa. Oh yeah, Linares too. You said what I think about Cole versus Vosdick. That's who he will fight if he beats Hart. I don't know if Vosdick will get past Albert Ramirez. Albert Ramirez got some power. He's not really a technical fighter like that. He's kind of like Hot Rod with a whole bunch of power. But Albert Ramirez is still dangerous though. I gotta see if Vosdick get past Ramirez. I think he will. As far as Cole and Vosdick, I think Cole dangerous right now. After that loss, because the way that Cole is boxing now, I thought he was gonna be boxing like that before that Gallegos fight. But then I was worried about the fight. But then things happen. He ended up taking the loss. Now he looks better. I don't know, man. I would actually probably lean towards Cole in that fight with Vosdick. If he didn't lose, I'll probably lean towards Vosdick. But yeah, I just think it's hard to beat Cole right now. So you actually got to lean towards him. And I think that Cole is actually the best person to challenge Benavidez, to be honest with you, as far as his skill set. He's like a more aggressive version of Morel. But yeah, I think he actually got the best skill set to match up with a Benavidez. But yeah, Ramirez is fighting Vosdick from what I'm hearing. They're trying to get that fight together. It's not official, but as far as what Hart and Cole, yeah, they definitely going with that fight. But Vosdick was trying to fight Cole, and then Cole said he was going to end up fighting Hart. I think because Hart had tried to fight him first. But I think Vosdick said that Hart is actually going to be a tough fight for Cole. He might lose that fight. Yeah, that could happen, but I still got Cole in that fight though. He said Cole know he can't lose again because Matchroom will drop him. Yeah, it could happen, but he looked so good in his last fight. Now, if he lose the heart, that could be possible, but I don't think he paying attention to that after that victory he had in Mexico. You said, can Benavidez get past Cole jab? I think so. If he would have been able to get him the first time around, it would have been easier. But right now, like I said, I think it's tougher. I wouldn't have said that last year either. I would have thought probably Cole had talent to compete, but to hang with Benavidez, nah, I probably wouldn't have thought of that. But now, I think so. Because he's the only person I've seen that can actually do all the things Benavidez does at that weight class. And his power, he has just as much power as he does, though. Yeah, jab is a little stronger too. You said Cole and Hart sparred before. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna play a huge part in this fight because from the way that Cole fights now and Hart, they can switch it up a lot as far as how they fight. So I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. Especially the way them guys talking, they act like they don't even remember a sparring match. And they had a crossroads with this fight too. This is not a fight that they should probably be in right now. But yeah, one of these guys' career gonna definitely change after they have this fight. I think this is a very tough fight for both of them to be taken. Actually, they could have went in another direction. And I think Jesse Hart is still dangerous, but they just got to keep him in a mix though. Seems like 175 is not really moving the way it should be. Yeah, Hart never been stopped. Just fought. I'm looking at the wrong thing. My bad. Never been stopped. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Hasn't fought since 2024. He only fought once last year and twice the year before that. So he hasn't really been active a lot recently. Hasn't went 12 rounds, 10 rounds. He went 12 rounds as far as with Zerto twice, but really hasn't went 10 rounds in a while since 2020. So yeah, the activity is probably the biggest question mark with Jesse Hart, but he's still cracking and getting the guys up out of there. But if he can go in there in good shape, being able to move, yeah, it'd be a hard fight for Cole. But yeah, Hart just ain't been fighting that much. He fights his last year, but that's 175. You gotta take what you can get. We tried to fight Benavidez late last year, but ended up fighting Morrell. Yeah, that's why I don't like 175 a lot of times. They don't give guys a chance to mix it up for real. Guys who actually want to fight though. And if you look at Jesse Hart resume, man, he's supposed to be in some big fights. Dude had a close fight with it got dropped by Zerto, but went the distance in that fight, and it was close on the cards. All the judges had it close, and that's after he got dropped. So that was a closer fight than people realize. The guy, Demond Nicholson, ended up stopping him. Lost a majority decision to Zerto. That was a close fight again, and that was closer than the first fight. Didn't get dropped in that fight. Yeah, so he's had some close losses to a lot of these guys. Joe Smith Jr. Yeah, he been fighting on that TCL, keeping himself active. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I heard about that. I forgot to talk about that. He got Matchroom gave him a deal. Yeah, he got to be one of the most underrated light heavyweights, though. A lot of his fights is close, and these fights with Joe Smith Jr. and Zerto. Yeah, he has to be in the mix. Yeah, he definitely has to be. Look at the fights he's been taking. And this is around the time when most of those guys were dangerous. So yeah, I actually think this Hart. I didn't like the Hart and Cole matchup at first, but yeah, I definitely think it's better than the Vazi fight now. Yeah, it just makes too much sense. And Vazi fighting Alvin Ramirez, I actually want to see that. Yeah, because I don't think Alvin Ramirez has been really fighting guys on that type of level. I want to see if he's a real boxer. I know he can box, but he really just stopped people most of the time. I don't want Benavidez to go in a ring with a guy who just gets knockouts against certain people. That ain't gonna be a good matchup. Now, if he goes out there and knocks out Vosdick, we definitely gonna have to watch him versus Benavidez. Yeah, I'm trying to see what news they got out right now. It's not really no boxing news coming out. Yeah, it ain't nothing going on. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be back on early in the morning, possibly. See what kind of news coming out. I appreciate everybody coming through the live, man. Checking me out. We're gonna try to be back on tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for coming through, man. Shout out to the GOAT for coming through the live. Appreciate the GOAT for coming through. Shout out to J Man in the chat, man. George Smith, Root Exposure, everybody that came through.